We'll start on the product page for Resolve, and right up front, I'm going to be covering how you'll do this if you already have the free version installed. It'll work for a fresh install as well though, there will just be a couple obvious steps in there which you don't have to do. Part 1. Get this thing on your PC. If you're new to Resolve, I'd highly recommend reading and exploring on this page, but for this tutorial, we're going to stop once we get to these two buttons. This install button covers both the free version and the studio version, and it's the one you'll use if you're upgrading a previously installed copy, or if you already have a product key because you bought the speed editor or the pocket cinema camera or something like that. But if you're coming in fresh and need to buy a license, this second button is where you'll do that. For this, we'll go through the route that the top button provides us. Once we click it, we'll get this pop-up which allows you to select your product and your operating system. Make sure you get both of these right. For me, on this machine, I want Resolve Studio 17 and I'm using Windows. Click your corresponding button and it'll bring us to this registration page. Fill in all of this info, then press register and download to start downloading our installer zip file. Once that's done, navigate to your download location. If you're on Chrome, you can come up and click this menu, or if you're big into hotkeys like me, just press Ctrl J. Find your zip file in here, then give it the old 1-2 click. Part 2. Unzipping your installer. After you've delivered that double click to your downloaded zip file, it'll open in whichever extractor you use. I'm privy to WinRAR myself, and if you want to grab WinRAR, I go through the full process in my installing Resolve video, so I'll have that linked in the description in case you need it. I already have it though, so I'm going to click our installer in here and press extract to. That'll pop up this window, and I'll tell it where I want it to extract to, which will be the desktop. It'll go through this process, and then the installer will be ready to go right there on the desktop. We'll double click it to open it up, and it'll say extracting and give us this loading bar. Then we'll get our isolated prompt, and since we trust Blackmagic, we'll press allow. Then, if we already have a copy of Resolve installed, we'll wait a couple of seconds and get this error message. If you don't already have a copy, or you just don't get this error, go to this timestamp. Part 3. Out with the old. For those of you who didn't skip ahead, we'll need to come down to our search bar, type Control Panel, and open our Control Panel. In here, there are a few things we need to uninstall. We'll go through and get rid of everything from Blackmagic. In my experience, every time I've done this, I've come out the other side with my databases intact, but that does nothing for how scary this feels if you already have a project that you're working on. If you're super worried about this, grab a thumb drive and back up your projects. Once all of our Resolve associated programs are uninstalled, we'll go back to our desktop and double-click our installer again. Part 4. In with the new. Once the extracting bar goes away, we'll get these options here. Go ahead and leave all of these checked, or if they aren't, go ahead and check them all. You may not need them right now, but you'll have to do most of this process again if you want to get them in the future. So just get them. Then click install and it'll get going. A bunch of different loading bars will pop up and then go away. When they're done, we'll be here and we'll click next. Read this if you want to, or just lie and say you did, like you normally do. Click next, then set your install location. I'm going to leave this one right here. Once you have your location, next again. Last chance to double check your install settings by pressing back, but I'm going to confidently click install without a second thought. We'll get a few more loading bars and this button will ominously change back to saying next. Once those loading bars are done doing their thing, it'll change its mind about making us click next again and instead let us click finish. Part 5. Existential Dread. Now that we've clicked finish, we have this new, fresh Resolve shortcut here. And if we had previous projects going, this is the part where we're pretty sure all of our hard work has been deleted. So we'll open it up and cross our fingers. Once it's open and we can see that our projects are fine, we can breathe a sigh of relief and then watch this video, which will show you how to do a cool demon eye effect inside of Fusion. I'll see you over there.